good afternoon guys. Continuing with the next chapter of Financial Accounting paper 7. The name of the chapter, Final Accounts of Cooperative Society. A very simple chapter. Only thing is little bit of format you have to remember. And the format, what you all did in semester 5 in banking, insurance, LLP, this chapter ka format is much easier as compared to those chapters what we did in the earlier semester. Now, when I say final accounts, you all know final accounts. You all have been studying since FYJC. This is final accounts of cooperative society. Now, when I say cooperative society, there are different types of cooperative society. What you all have in your syllabus is two types of cooperative society. One is cooperative housing society, which I am going to start today, and majority sums are based on that only. And the other is consumer cooperative society. Consumer means departmental stores which are run by government and semi-government organizations, like Sakari Bandana, GeoMart is also a type of consumer cooperative society. Of course, now it's become privatized, but they have taken over all those cooperative societies. So this chapter in two parts: housing society and consumer cooperative society. Today, as I mentioned, we will start with housing society. Now, before we start with the accounts, first you should have a basic brief. What exactly is a cooperative housing society and what all activities takes place. On that basis, the final accounts ka concept will become much clearer. Now, most of us stay in our houses which are a part of cooperative society. Now, when I say cooperative, that means what? Everybody has to cooperate. Now, the house in which we stay, we get water supply from BMC. Every society has security, watchmen. Where the buildings are new, there is a lift. Old buildings lift may not be there. Every society maintains its accounts. Every society has to pay property taxes to your local body. For us staying in Mumbai, the local body is BMC. Every month we have to pay water charges, we have to pay property taxes to our local body, that is Mumbai Mahanagar Corporation, that is our BMC. So what happens? Cooperative society, let it be any type, it is a non-profit organization. Their object is to provide services to the members and not to make profits. Their objective is to provide services and not to make profit. They may make profit, but the sole objective is not to make profit but to provide services. Now, say for example, there are 100 members in a society, non-profit organization. So to incur your expenses, every member has to contribute. To incur the expenses, every member has to contribute every month. Without that, cooperative society cannot function. Like in our houses, we need money to have lunch, dinner. Without that, we cannot survive. So from where the money comes? Our family members work, income is generated. Now for a society, where the income will come from? So every members who are a part of society will have to contribute, and from that contribution, expenses are incurred. As I told you, expenses. BMC ko, again I am repeating, we pay property taxes, we pay amount for water charges. Without that, water supply doesn't come. You have your security, you have that lift, you repair your building, you paint your building, your accounts are to be maintained, you pay salary to accountant. Every society has to get its accounts audited. You have to pay audit fees. So different types of expenses are incurred, for which the members will contribute, and from that contribution, expenses will be incurred. If the contribution is more, income is more, it is a profit, and in case there is a shortfall, then it becomes deficit. It's very rare there is a deficit, but there can be deficit, but it is very rare, because if there is a deficit, members will contribute and cover that deficit. So these are all your activities. There are many other things which I'll keep on explaining slowly as and when we proceed towards the chapter. Now, as I mentioned, today we are starting the first part, that is cooperative housing society. Now, for housing society, in each and every sum, there will be maximum two things what you are supposed to prepare. One is income and expenditure, that is your combined trading P&L. You will have done in SYJC also, non-profit organization NPO. And the second thing is balance sheet. Now if you see, I have already made the format for the sum what we are going to do. Of course, I will discuss the format before we start the sum. It is normal format, horizontal T format, not the vertical format what you will have done in 5th Sem in banking, insurance and LLP. Income and expenditure, debit, credit, balance sheet, normal horizontal T format, liabilities and assets. The only thing is you have to fit in the heads. Now guys, see, I am being very open with you all. For balance sheet, yes, you should be having headings. Now when I say income and expenditure now, authors may, there is a lot of difference of opinion. There is one author, I am not naming anybody, there is one author who has not given any heads, he has just put all items one below the other. Other author has given heads, the third author has also given heads, but both the heads differentiate. There are certain items which some authors say should go in this head, some authors say should go in this head. Both of them are right, both of them are not wrong, because there is a difference of opinion. So university doesn't stress much on that. So it's okay even if you don't put the heads, and in case you put the heads, by mistake you just shuffle the heads, it's fine, not to worry much, because there is going to be difference of opinion. Every college follows a different author, so those professors will go according to that author. So you can easily stick to this, and those who are watching video, you all are from autonomous colleges, you stick to what your college does. Okay, now before I start, a very important point, especially for objective. Almost every paper they ask that. You have done insurance, correct? There was form B karke. Same way in cooperative society there is form N. It's given in the objective. They ask you many times, accounts of cooperative society, which form you have to write? It is form number N. Keep this in mind. Okay. Now I have made this income and expenditure account. Expenditure debit, income credit. Now just see the format, just keep the format in front of you all. The sheet what you all have, come to page number 4. Come to page number 4. We will just roughly glance, and then when I start the sum, I keep on telling you what is to be done in detail. Okay, see, on page number 4, that is numbering is 61, but the 4th side, they have given you format of income and expenditure account. Okay, now see, right now just focus on the debit side. If you see, the first head is property expense, second head is establishment expense. It is also called as administrative expenses. Next is other expenses, and the fourth is surplus or deficit. Now see, property expenses. Now don't see the format, just listen. When I say property expenses, as I told you, we have to pay property taxes to the government, local body, property taxes. You repair your buildings, it's a part of property maintenance. Lift is there, you pay for lift maintenance, you are maintaining your property. Then you have watchmen, security agencies, they are protecting your property, property expense. Your society ka compound, lobbies ka electricity bill comes. Our house ka electricity bill we have to pay, but lobbies and common area building, lift ka electricity maintenance, society has to pay. So all that comes under the heading property expenses. Okay. When we read the sum, when we start the sum, I will tell you in detail what is to be done. Right now, just roughly listen to it. Then the next is establishment. You have to get your accounts audited, accounting charges, salary paid to accountant, salary paid to management, salary paid to auditors. All that comes under the head establishment expenses. There is something called as education fund, which later on will come in a particular sum. When you are a society, whatever are the number of members, per member you have to every year give a contribution to the government, that is that organization who takes care of cooperative society, that is the Department of Maharashtra government who handles all this. How we have LLP and companies are governed by ROC, Registrar of Company. Same way there is Registrar of Society also. So there you have to contribute. So all that comes under the heading establishment expenses. Now see here, they have given you separate heading for depreciation. So even if you have a separate head, it's fine. Or even if you put it under the head establishment expense, it's fine. There are some authors who have put it under the head establishment expenses. Some authors have shown separately under the head depreciation. Even in practical life, every society there is a difference of opinion for some items of a particular heading. So items keep on shuffling. So don't worry much about that. Okay. Now see, after that other expense, as I told you, depreciation, surplus deficit. If credit side is more, it's a profit. We will call it as surplus. If debit side is more, we call it as loss. That is your deficit. Okay. Now see, coming to the credit side. If you see, there is collection from members given twice. Now we will make it very simple. We will not write it twice. What we will do? We will write by contribution from members or by collection from members, and whatever members are contributing, we will put it here. Now here there are two things. If the contribution of members, understand this, if the contribution of members is for incurring your day-to-day activities and day-to-day expenses, then it will be a part of income and expenditure account. If the contribution from members is for incurring expenses which are a part of day-to-day activities, then it will be credited here. And if the members contribute for a future, for a specific purpose, then it will be shown as a capital receipt and it will be shown under the head reserves and surpluses. Suppose after 5 years, the society decides we will get all the buildings painted, and they collect from the members specific money to paint the building, then that goes under the head painting fund and that will be treated as reserves. So if the members contribute certain money for a specific purpose or for a future purpose, then it will be shown as a liability, and if it is for day-to-day activities, then it will be shown as a part of contribution. They have split it in two, we will split it in one. As I told you, don't worry much about the headings. There's a lot of difference of opinion and till today no solution has been arrived. After that, if you see the format, third one is interest and dividend. When the society makes investment, if they make investment in government bonds, debentures, fixed deposits, they will get interest. If they invest in shares of a cooperative come bank, they get dividend. So interest and dividend comes here. And in case there is any other income other than these two, then there's a separate head, that is other income, that we will see when we come to the relevant sum. Got it? Now see, come to the next page, format of balance sheet. The items are more, but you just have to focus on the main heads. Okay? Same like other entities ka balance sheet, cooperative society ka balance sheet will also start with share capital. So liability side mein the first heading will be share capital. Same what you all did in the previous semesters also. Authorize, issued, subscribe. If authorize is given, show it separately. If not, give a combined heading, authorize, issued and subscribe. Basic it is, there is not much adjustment for share capital. 99% of the sums made, it will be given straightforward to you. Then, see the next one. Reserves and surpluses, that is reserve funds. Okay? We also call it as reserve and surplus funds, or we also call it as reserve fund. Now, what comes in this? As I told you, members' contribution kept aside for a future purpose. Members, as I give you example, painting fund, or they want to construct extra 2 floors, 1 floor, extra construction के लिए fund, or they want to undertake major repairs. Remember, there are two things: only repairs and major repairs. Only repairs means that which is incurred every year, and major repairs means every 5 years, 10 years you break all the plaster, redo the plaster. That is called as major repairs. So if there is a fund for major repairs, that will be a part of reserves. Okay, so specific funds kept aside will be shown under the head reserve fund. Now listen, in other entities, banking, insurance, if they used to make profit, we used to transfer the profit to reserve and surpluses. Here the profit will go separately to income and expenditure account. There will be an income and expenditure account on liability as well as asset, but that is either at one place. No society can have balance at both the places. So if the society is having surpluses, they are making profits, it will appear on the liability side, and in case the society is going into losses, then the same head income and expenditure will appear on the asset side. You can see the format, the last item at both the places. Okay, next, see the third thing, staff provident fund. If it's a big society, they have staff, then you have to deduct provident fund. The amount which is payable to the staff will come under the head staff provident fund. It's very rare, one odd somewhere you will get it. Then the next is secured loan, unsecured loan. Society also takes loan. If they take a loan against which a security is given, it will come under the head secured loan. Otherwise, it will come under the head unsecured loan. Okay? Don't go much in depth. Deposits. Now, this heading of deposit doesn't come into picture for housing. It will be more relevant when we come to consumer cooperative society. When members join the society, they have to pay a certain amount of deposit to become a member. For housing society also there is, but we don't call it as deposit, we call it as transfer fees. So deposits, when the members pay deposit to the society, sometimes members give it in the form of loan also. So all that will come under the heading deposits. This will come more in the second part of this chapter. Then you have current liabilities and provisions. Very basic. All your outstanding expenses, income received in advance will come under the heading current liabilities and provisions. That will be your heading, current liabilities and provisions. Okay, and the last, this unpaid dividend, this also doesn't come for housing society, this comes for consumer cooperative society. They pay dividend to their members and the shareholders. Interest accrued but due but not paid. Any interest which the society is supposed to pay, it is a liability, but as per the act there is a separate format, so you will show it under the head interest accrued. Then other liabilities, any liability which doesn't fit in any of this will be shown separately under the head other liabilities, which is very rare. And then the last, as I mentioned, income and expenditure account. You'll have to see the question. If in the question it is on the credit side, it will come here, and if it is on the debit side, then it will come on the asset side. Now come to the asset side. Here it's very simple, but you have to be careful for the order. Till now, whatever balance sheets you all have studied, always if it was a balance sheet as per an act, you recollect, it always 99% used to start with fixed assets. Cooperative society ka balance sheet will not start with fixed assets, it will start with cash and bank. So the first heading on the asset side will be cash and bank. Your hard cash, cash in hand, your balances with bank. All cooperative societies are supposed to maintain accounts with a cooperative bank only. So all your bank balances and hard cash, cash in hand, your cash box may in your office, whatever is cash, all will come under the head cash and bank. Then you see the next thing, investments. Whatever investments the society makes, after cash and bank, the next heading will be investments. Here there is no classification of long term and short term which we should do earlier. Then staff provident fund investment. When you deduct staff ka provident fund, the amount of provident fund appears on the liability side. But why liability? Because later on you have to pay them. So to pay them, what you do? You invest that money. When the time of payment comes, you will sell the investment and pay. So the liability of provident fund will come on the liability side, and the investment made for the specific purpose of provident fund will be shown under the head, separate head, staff provident fund investments. Then loans and advances. Again, this is very rare in case of housing societies. In case of consumer society it comes. Society will give loans to members at a low rate of interest. So they will give to the members. So for the society, it is to be recovered back from the members. Therefore, for the society, it is an asset. So any loans and advances given to the members will come under the head. Loans and advances separately on the asset side. Sundry debtors. Other than loans and advances, if you sell goods to debtors, in consumer society you will have, when you sell goods to members, because you have sold goods, they become your customer debtors. Even here, your members, when the society has to recover money from their members, that will appear separately under the head sundry debtors. So sundry debtors will come in housing society as well as consumer societies. Both the cases it will come. Here, the members to whom the houses are allotted, they will be treated as debtors as far as your accounting purpose is concerned. Then, current assets, all your loose tools, stock in trade, WIP comes in consumer society. Here, loose tools will come under the head current asset. Here also for housing society, it is rare in your sums, but you may get, loose tools, that screwdrivers and pucker and plumbing material, all that is called as loose tools. For the society, it is an asset. Then next, very well, fixed assets. All your fixed assets will come under the head fixed assets. Now guys, listen very carefully. Important not only from the sum point of view, but very important for objective. Understand this. See the next head, miscellaneous expenses and losses. See the first item, what is given? Goodwill. Now if you recollect, till now, since your FIJC till your previous semester, wherever we have done final accounts, goodwill was always a part of fixed assets under the head intangible asset. But this is the only exception. In accounts of cooperative society, goodwill will not be treated as fixed asset. It will be treated as a fictitious asset only for this purpose. The reason is cooperative society is not a profit making organization. So there cannot be valuation of goodwill done specifically for takeover and all that. That is not possible in cooperative society. So mark it important, very important for objective. Goodwill here won't be treated as a fixed asset, but it will come under the head miscellaneous expenses and losses. Okay, then rest all preliminary expenses, expense on issue of shares and debentures. Even society issue shares, because when you become a member, you get a share certificate. So shares are issued by the society also. All your deferred expenses, like once painting done once in 2-3 years, you have to write it off over a period of 2-3 years. All these are a part of your miscellaneous expenditure. Next, other items. Anything which is receivable, like interest receivable, commission receivable, all that comes under the heading other items. And when the society gives, suppose you take a water connection, or say we as an individual, we take a new electricity connection, you have to pay certain deposits. So deposits paid will come under the head other item. Remember, liability side wala deposit is deposit received. This is deposit paid. So when you make deposits for water meter, electricity meter, that comes under the head other items. And then you see income and expenditure account on the asset side. This will include your current and accumulated losses. So again I am repeating, in case there is a surplus, it will come here, and in case there is a deficit, accumulated losses, then it will come on the asset side. Okay guys, now listen. All these heads were there. Now you don't have to write all the heads what is given there. We will read the sum. According to the sum, whatever are the headings relevant, we will make the format according to that. Now what procedure we'll adopt is, we will read the full sum, we will classify the headings, and according to that, first we'll have to make the full format. So what happens, once the format is ready, rest will be just fill in the blanks. Once you make this format now, it's very simple, and I'm telling you, after 1 or 2 days, in fact maybe today only, you will say this is a very simple chapter. Okay, so now before that, before I start the sum, there is something called as memorandum P&L account, which we have to do for the first sum, but I'm not getting into it right now. Let me first read the sum, we will discuss the format, we will solve the full sum, we will finish the sum, and then we will see what is to be done for the memorandum account what I am referring. Okay, now guys, the first sum what I am doing, of course in this session we will be able to do only one sum. In fact, I'll have to split it up in 2 videos. What I am doing first is question number 6. Come to our practical part, question number 6. Okay, we will read the sum and we will decide what items will go under which head, and according to that we will make the format. I have already made the format, I will discuss the full format with you. Let's see. Question 6. Following is the trial balance of Nivara Cooperative Housing Society for the year ending 31st March 10. You are required to prepare final accounts for the year ended 2010. Now see, a trial balance is given. Share capital, 250 equity shares of 25 each. So one thing is there, share capital is there, share capital has to be there. Next, now see, you have reserve fund, members welfare fund. Reserve fund means past profits which have been accumulated in reserves, and members welfare fund means fund kept aside for welfare of the members in the future. So both of them are specific funds and they will come under the head reserve fund. Okay, now see, members contribution. Now what I told you in the start, when I say members contribution, there are 2 things. One, the members will contribute for day-to-day activities, and the other thing is members will contribute for a specific purpose. So now see, about that, as I told you, reserve fund and members welfare fund will be a part of reserve fund. Now see, members contribution towards municipal tax, water charges, electricity, maintenance, late fees, car parking, all are your regular incomes and day-to-day activities. So all of them will come on the credit side of income and expenditure. So what you all will do, credit side, by contribution from members, first you will give the heading Form N in the books of Nivara Cooperative Society, income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 10, expenditure amount, income amount. You will take the full page. Okay, credit side pay, contribution from members, we will keep around 8 lines because there are 7-8 items. Okay, just listen, then again I'll discuss with you all, and when I solve I'll be going very slow with it. Okay, then now see, income and expenditure account. Now income and expenditure account is on which side? Debit or credit? It is there on the credit side. So see, because income and expenditure account is there on the credit side, it will come on the last part of your liability side. Okay, next, members contribution towards building. Now see, all the contribution on the income side was for day-to-day activities. Building is a specific purpose. So members contribution for building will be a part of your reserve fund. Clear? Next, building, furniture, computer, all are fixed assets, so that will come under the heading fixed assets. You can write it side pay if you want. Building, computer, furniture, fixed assets. Cash, cash and bank. Now see, amount receivable from members. What I told you, anything which is receivable from members will be a part of debtors. So that will come under the heading sundry debtors. So if you want, you can write on the side sundry debtors. Or when I start, that time you want to write, no problem. Now see, municipal tax, water charges, electricity, repair maintenance, watchman sweeper salary, lift maintenance. I'll repeat, municipal tax, water charges, electricity, repairs and maintenance, watchman sweeper salary, lift maintenance, all are connected with your property directly. So all that will come under the heading property expenses. So when I start the income and expenditure account, it will always start with property expense, and all these items what I discussed, municipal tax till lift maintenance, everything will come under the head property expenses. Okay, then account writing charges, legal expenses, conveyances, local traveling, printing stationery, postage courier, education cess, all these are a part of your establishment expenses that will come under the head establishment expense. Establishment expense, some people also call it as administrative expense. It's one and the same thing. Few authors give the heading admin expense, that is also fine, no problem. Next, fixed deposit with bank. Now when you place a fixed deposit, for us it is an investment, so that will go under the head investments. And the last, bank balance, we know it is a part of cash and bank balance. One or two sums may you might face a bit of problem going slow, but after that you will easily catch up with the speed. Now let's see the adjustment. We'll do the marking and then again I will discuss the format with you. Provide for outstanding liabilities, audit fees, municipal tax, electricity charges, water charges. Now see, can you see any audit fees? No, so it is independent. Municipal taxes, yes. Put a mark on municipal tax, it's below amount receivable from members. Then electricity, it is there below water charges, and there is water charges there. So municipal tax, water charges, electricity, all three of them are one below the other. Put a mark on all three of them. Provide debris on furniture and computer 10 and 40%. Put a mark on furniture and computer. Interest outstanding on FD 90,000. This will be an independent adjustment. Okay guys, now listen. I will discuss the full format again. Give the heading form and in the books of, it's Nivara, sorry. In the books of Nivara Housing Society, income and expenditure account for the year ending 31st March 10. Now listen guys, I'll discuss the debit side. First head will be property expense. Now see, how many items are connected with property expense? Municipal tax. Understand this, sir. I'm telling you how to decide to how many lines to leave. Municipal tax, water, electricity, repair maintenance, watchman's salary, sweeper salary, lift maintenance. 6 items. Plus, there are 3 marks for outstanding. So 6 plus another 3, 9. So what you do? When there are 9, 10 lines now, keep 3, 4 extra. So keep around 13 to 14 lines. So 2 property expenses, keep around 13 to 14 lines. Don't worry, even one or two here and there, it's fine. Then, after that, after keeping around 13, 14 lines, give the next heading establishment expenses and leave it. Come to the credit side. Contribution from members. What I told you, contribution from members on the credit side of income and expenditure will be contribution for day-to-day business activity. How many items are there? If you see what we discussed, there are around 7-8 items. So keep around 8-9 lines. Okay. So by contribution from members around 8 lines. And after that, on the credit side, there is interest. But if you see, interest is right now not in the trial balance, but the last adjustment, you are supposed to get interest. So there will be a head interest and dividend. Even if you don't put it in the start, later on when you realize that head is missing, put it, no problem. Got it? So this was income and expenditure. I'll repeat. Property expenses around 13 lines. After that, establishment expenses, leave it. Credit side contribution around 8 lines, and then by interest and dividend. Even this, if you put a head later on, it's fine. Now come to the balance sheet side. I'll discuss the format and the sum I will start in the next video. Balance sheet as on 31st March day. It will always start with share capital. Write share capital, leave 3-4 lines. Because heading will come authorized, issued, subscribed, number of shares, same what we did in the earlier chapters. Then there is reserve fund. Now if you see, there are only 3-4 items. So because there are 3-4 items, give the heading and leave around 4-5 lines. Okay? Now see, after that if you see the balance sheet format, nothing is there in the current sum. Straight away the next heading will come current liabilities. So if you see, there is no deposits, there is no secured loan, there is no unsecured loan. So no need, straight away write whatever heads are there. So the next heading will be current liabilities and provisions. There are 4 expenses which are outstanding. So leave around 4 to 5 lines. And after that, income and expenditure. Other items are not there. 1 or 2 sums may you will have to go a bit slow, then you will easily get it. Clear guys? So I'll repeat, share capital 3 to 4 lines, reserve fund around 4 to 5 lines, current liabilities around 5 lines, and end may income and expenditure. Come to the asset side. As I told you, cash and bank. Starting may there is cash balance and end may there is bank balance. So give the heading cash bank, leave 3 lines. There is only one investment. Give the heading investment, leave 2-3 lines. Then amount receivable from members is there. Only one item. So sundry debtors, leave 2-3 lines. After that, fixed assets. There is no staff provident fund, no current asset. Fixed assets, see how many are there? Building, furniture, computer, and 2 are having depreciation adjustment. So around 5 to 6 lines for fixed assets. And after that, last other items. Other item may the last adjustment will come interest receivable. So always first read the sum, see which are the relevant heads. According to that, make format, leave lines, and then we will do the posting. Once you are ready with this, rest of the thing is just fill in the blanks. Okay guys, so I discussed the concept of society, we discussed the format. Now I'll start the sum, and as I mentioned, there is one important point which is remaining. For that, first we will finish the sum and then we will see what is to be done. Because how is to transfer statutory reserve may in case of banking companies a certain amount of profit. Same thing you have to do here also, but that will come towards the end, which I will do once I finish the sum. Okay guys, now see, this is the format. Be ready with the format what I discussed with you all, and I'm starting the sum in the next video. Okay, I'll just be back.